You know how I know so-called religious Republicans are all full of shit?
All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book.
Well, aside from their general life choices and bastardization of Christian values, they also check their morals at the pearly gates to defend and uphold predators and creeps like this.
On Wednesday, Trump nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, and Gaetz said the same thing he does when he sees a teenage girl. I'll do it.
Yeah, insane. I mean, hell, if P. Diddy wasn't in jail, Trump would appoint him as the head of the Department of Sanitation.
Gaetz, who was created when Frankenstein Dracula, was chosen for Attorney General after Trump remembered that his original pick was found dead in a jail cell.
And while anyone who's acquired an actual sense of morality, whether from 2,000-year-old stories of a martyred Arab Jew who said to love all your neighbors, or just from basic human decency, would balk at the idea of appointing or electing adulterous, criminal, sexual assailant predators to the position of Attorney General, let alone the highest office in the land.
He was accused of sleeping with an underage girl. And there's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night.
Most Republicans, and the religious zealot holier-than-thou type especially, put these predators up on a pedestal and praise them on high despite all their sins.
So just to take a step back, because you and I have known each other for a long time. You're a man of faith, you're a man of God, you're a man of family. With some of these nominees, Gaetz, Hegseth, RFK Jr., I wonder, does it matter anymore for Republicans to think of leaders as people who are moral in their personal lives? Is that still important?
And as stupid as a question that was from Jake Tapper, given who the hell the Republican president-elect is, House Speaker Mike Johnson's answer is even more stupid. And thankfully, Jake Tapper gave him some solid pushback about the absolute black hole of morality that is the Trump cabinet Speaker Johnson supports. And like the snake he is, Mike Johnson squirmed, defending himself, Matt Gaetz, and the cabinet as a whole in this humiliating interview, starting with totally downplaying the House ethics complaint against Matt Gaetz for allegedly sleeping with a 17-year-old and bragging about how his didn't work without performance-enhancing drugs to senators.
He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night.
Let's turn now to the fact that one of your now former members, former Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida, has been nominated for U.S. Attorney General. Gaetz, as you know, had been facing a House Ethics Committee investigation over numerous allegations, including one that he had sex with a 17-year-old. We should note that Gaetz denies that allegation. On Wednesday, you said this about the House Ethics Committee's investigation.
The Speaker of the House is not involved in that, can't be involved in that, so I'm not really the person probably to answer that question.
But on Friday, you did want something to do with it. You said the House Ethics Committee report should not be released. In between those two comments, you did speak with President-elect Trump. Did he encourage you to change your position and to squash the House Ethics Committee report from being released?
No, he did not. The President and I have literally not discussed one word about the ethics report, not once. And I've been with him quite a bit this week between Washington and Mar-a-Lago, and last night in Madison Square Garden. But this is what I'll tell you about that. What I said is entirely consistent. The Speaker of the House is not involved in ethics committee work, can't be, shouldn't be, because the Speaker can't put a thumb on the scale or have anything to do with that. So I have no idea what the contents of this report would be. I didn't even know about it, Jake, until the middle of this week when it was announced in the press. What I have said with regard to the report is that it should not come out. And why?
Oh, pray tell, Magic Mike, why shouldn't the report come out? Perhaps because of the long-standing Republican tradition to remain in the closet, perhaps? Or is it because it would make your Attorney General nominee look like a creepy file? Because again, Mike, I really don't see how that could hurt him.
Because Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress. He is no longer a member. There's a very important protocol and tradition and rule that we maintain that the House Ethics Committee's jurisdiction does not extend to non-members of Congress. I think that would be a Pandora's box. I don't think we want the House Ethics Committee using all of its vast resources and powers to go after private citizens. And that's what Matt Gaetz is now. He is no longer a member of Congress. So I think that's a really important guardrail for the institution, and that's what I was speaking to in those sound bites.
Oh, right. Okay, we're not releasing the ethics report because that would be completely unethical. We know how deeply Republicans respect ethics and our institutions, and to release an ethics report on a now private citizen, I mean, it's so unethical. You'd have to be the type of person who would sleep with a 17-year-old. But okay. Now we want to keep the guardrails in place for the ethics committee and respect the integrity of this hallowed institution. I mean, it's not like the House Ethics Committee has ever before released ethics complaints about people who resigned from Congress, did they?
The House Ethics Committee in the past has released reports of individuals who resigned from Congress.
Ah, so he is full of shit.
Congressman Bonner, Congressman Lukens. The House Ethics Committee, after the resignation of Mark Foley, even began an investigation and then released a report. So it's not unprecedented. And there are a number of Senate Republicans. I mean, this report's already done. It's not a question of continuing it. It's finished. There are a number of Senate Republicans who want to see it. They say it's important to their advice and consent role. Take a listen.
I think there should not be any limitation on the Senate Judiciary Committee's investigation, including whatever the House Ethics Committee has generated.
We should have access to it one way or another based on the way that we do all of these nominations.
Don't the American people, and more importantly, don't the people who are going to be voting on Matt Gaetz's confirmation to be the top law enforcement officer of the United States, don't they have a right to see that report that has been paid for by taxpayer dollars?
Great point, Jake. You're probably right. The American people do have a right to see the ethics complaint, but our plan is that after we're done forcing Matt Gaetz as Attorney General on the American people like he would force himself on a 17-year-old, the American people will no longer have any rights, let alone the right to see the ethics complaint. Make sense, Jake?
Two important points here, Jake. Number one, my understanding is that the report is not finished. It's in a rough draft form.
Did he just say we can't see the ethics report because it's only a concept of an ethics report? What the fuck are we doing here, people?
Was not yet ready to be released. And since Matt Gaetz left the Congress, I don't think it's appropriate to do so. They'll have a rigorous review and vetting process in the Senate, but they don't need to rely upon a report or a draft report, a rough draft report, that was prepared by the Ethics Committee for its very limited purpose.
Beyond the question of whether or not Congressman Gaetz broke the law, and certainly there's a presumption of innocence for anyone, a lot of House Republicans, your colleagues, the people you lead, have real issues with Matt Gaetz as somebody to lead the U.S. Justice Department. I'm sure you've heard them, because I've heard them. You're a man of faith. You're a man of God. You're a man of family. With some of these nominees, Gaetz, Hegseth, RFK Jr., I wonder, does it matter anymore for Republicans to think of leaders as people who are moral in their personal lives? Is that still important to the Republican Party?
Sure. It's an important issue for anyone in leadership. This is what I'll say about the nominees that the president has put forward, is that they are persons who will shake up the status quo. And I think what the American people have believe and what they've delivered with the mandate in this election is a demand that we shake up the status quo. It's not working for the American people. So use the term in the opening about how these are disruptors. They are. I think that's by design.
Right, exactly, Jake. These people are disruptors in the sense that they will completely disrupt the normal functioning of American government. And look, folks, it is going to be a long and arduous road, and these people are gonna break and f it up. No doubt in my mind, and the people who voted for them and gave this mandate from up on high will suffer, and they will see just how bad they f***ed up. But they may not recognize it because so many of them are inundated by crap like this and garbage human beings like Mike Johnson, Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump, the rest of the Republican Party writ large, and they will try to brainwash it away and somehow trick themselves into thinking that they're still voting for their best interest. And while I'm still trying to wrap my head around how the hell we approach that and address those people and fix that issue, one thing I refuse to back down from is showing these people how morally reprehensible their elected officials are, and reminding them day in and day out that they voted for these and put criminals, adjudicated sexual assailants, and PDF files in the fucking White House. But hey, I guess Jesus did say, love thy neighbor even if they're a rapist, but not if they're a Democrat. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about this absolute bullshit in the comments down below. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you all in the next one.